In this lesson for task 3C, we're going to look at melodic ideas and try and focus in on technology. Now, one thing I have to say about getting melodic ideas down is if you are a producer, there's a couple of things that you kind of need to get better at. First is learn to play the piano, and the second is being brave enough to sing, even if you're not the greatest singer in the world. Now, I'm an okay singer, not a great singer, but I'm an okay singer. And it's really important to be able to get some of those ideas down. If you can play some kind of chords and you can play and you can actually sing, your development will speed up. Now, a lot of my students will really struggle at this particular stage because they're not singers, they're not brave enough, and everything kind of crumbles in around them. Now, it's okay to use a professional singer for the final result, but it's not really okay to have that professional singer come up with the melodic ideas. This is your composition and you have to come up with those melodic ideas and you have to work out the phrasing, and there is really no substitute for actually just doing it yourself. So with that being said, I'm going to show you a few techniques that you can kind of get over all those fears and you can put it in. Now, what I'm dealing with here is I've just got a desktop microphone. It's a fairly good microphone, and I think for this particular task you do need a condenser microphone or have some decent signal. If you've got too much noise on your microphone, or if you've got too much noise around you, you probably won't be able to do this task because there'll be too much interference, and the software that we're going to use in just a second won't pick up all the correct notes. So how did I go about this? Now, I'm in the early stages and I haven't given too much away because I really don't want to influence you too heavily in your own kind of melodic decisions, because this is going to form quite a big part of what we're doing, and this is the final element of your basic structure as well. So once you've got this in, everything's going to start slotting into place a lot quicker. Okay, so how did I develop this? Now, firstly, you'll notice I've got the main lyrics here and I've got my edited lyrics here. That's all I've done so far, and I'm going to mix these up. Now, you have to be very careful with this because, as you can see from my edited, I've really chopped and changed them and mixed them up. But in order to fulfill the specification of the brief, it says you have to use a lot of the lyrics, or the bulk of the lyrics. Now, if you edit them as heavily as I have done, you may be in fear of reducing your marks for that particular area. So try to kind of get these lyrics in their entirety so that it portrays the meaning of the piece. Now, like we did in the previous lesson, we kind of talked about what the piece meant and what the lyrics meant and kind of developing our thoughts around that. You can chop and change them. You can structure these in any order as you want, but they do have to portray that meaning. So it's really important that I've deliberately gone over the top here, and I've changed words and I've mixed it up. And that's really so that you guys can't really copy me more than anything, so that you have to come up with your own ideas. So you have to come into here, you have to work out the phrasing for each of these lines and work out where they would best suit. For instance, if you thought, okay, these first two lines, they would fit better in my chorus, so I'm going to definitely use them in my chorus, and these next four lines, they're going to fit better in my first and second verse, and that's fine. You can chop them up, but make sure at the end of it the meaning that you're trying to portray still represents the lyrics, because that's the brief. Okay, now as lyrics, these are not the best lyrics to kind of do. So I've walked that long road to freedom, I've tried not to fall. That works as two lines. I've made missteps along the way, but have discovered the secret that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Now that's a mouthful, so you are going to have to find phrases that chop up. Now, I have started with these first ones. So the kind of phrasing that I was thinking is, okay, this is definitely a phrase. I've walked that long road to freedom. So I'm kind of thinking, I've walked that long road to freedom, and I can speed that up. Hey, I've walked that long road to freedom, or something like that. Or I can slow it down. I have walked that long road to freedom, or something like that. And you have to kind of find these phrasing, and it's worth just taking a line and playing the chord, because we already know our chords for this first verse. So my first chord, if I come over and I look at my first chord, it's an A minor. And what I sometimes do is I set up a piano track, and I've already got one here, so I'm just going to play this one, and over the A minor. Okay, so there's my A minor, and my first line is that I've walked that long road to freedom. So I've walked that long road to freedom. You know, and I'm kind of just playing around with that. My next chord is C, so let's just see how that works for C. I've walked that long road to freedom. You know, and you've got these kind of things, these kind of ideas coming out. Now, you need to put something down, and as naff as those ideas are, you have to keep going over the lyrics over and over and again. And I will not lie to you, this took me a long time, okay, because the phrasing is so difficult. Some people like to listen to songs to get their inspiration from. Some people just like to come off at the top of the head just using the chords. I am one of those people that just plays around the chords, plays around with some kind of beat counter as well, and tries to develop them that way. However you decide to do it, it's fine, but I would definitely recommend you getting in your board some kind of crib sheet of how you're going to phrase these particular lyrics, pretty much like I've done here, the way I've cut them up, okay? So that is the first step, getting an idea for how these sections of the lyrics should be phrased if you're going to go down that pop route, or either which actually. And some people are going down the talking route as well, so you know, it might just be that, like my original ideas, and I still haven't done these yet, but I'm going to put these in where I'm going to take these kind of key phrases and I'm going to talk them over the top and kind of maybe use some chanting to get them in as well. So these are more development ideas, but I did want to put down a melody, because one of the recommendations on the brief, or one of the options, is to have a strong melody, okay? So that I do need to concentrate that, and it will take you a long time to develop these ideas. With that being said, I've then gone in. Now, this is where, if you're a non-singer, it comes in really useful. If you're using Cubase, you have a thing called Vari Audio, and if you're using Logic, I think it's called Flex Time. So if you double click on the audio, now, where is this? It always takes me a bit of time to find it, but we will. So turn on this tool here, Show Flex. Now in here, where it says Flex Pitch at the moment, normally it's on one of these, so rhythmic or something, but Flex Pitch will give you something really awesome, as will Vari Audio. Vari Audio is a lot more sophisticated than this, so if you're using Cubase, you've got a fantastic tool for this. But Vari Audio basically represents your audio file as these MIDI notes, and these MIDI notes you can pull around and change. And this is fantastic. So for instance, if you're off key, or if you're out of time, or the rhythm isn't quite right, you can actually change all of these things. So let's come on to this one here. You see you've got 6 dots, okay? So you've got pitch drift at the beginning, which you can detune the drift of the note, and you should have pitch drift at the end, which you can detune the end of the note. You then have fine tune. So you see it's -3 at the minute. I can get that exactly on the note. Okay, so now it's exactly this B note, okay? So those are the pitch drifts and the fine tune. If you hold it in the middle, you can actually change the note, which is really interesting. So as well as fine tuning it, you can actually just change the note entirely. The bottom is the gain, so you can actually make the note louder. Okay, let's just turn that down. This middle one, vibrato, now this is interesting, so you can flatten out the vibrato. Now vibrato is just that kind of wavy signal, and you'll hear it a lot better on this, where it goes whoa, 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 that kind of up and down on the pitch, okay? And then finally on the end you have this formant shift, which kind of detunes it as well, okay? Now if you hover over the end like this, you'll get this corner. This is where you can change the rhythm of the note, so you can just drag it in like that, and you can actually get different rhythmic timings. Let me undo them, because I'm fairly happy with how my rhythmic timings is. And you'll just have to play around with them. So if your melody isn't completely right, and this is you singing, so this is my rough track. Eventually, once I've got this right, I'll either use it, or I'll redo it, or I'll pass it off to a professional singer. However, that being said, at the moment you're using technology. Once again, let's refer to the brief. The brief is using technology to compose a song. Okay, using technology. We are using pitch shift, we are using pitch correct, we are using lots of technology now that we can write about, and we can tick off a box. So you do have to make sure your audio is clean, so make sure you've got no noise, make sure you use a gate. So if you look at mine, I've used a gate, and it's quite a heavy gate. I've done something really weird at the minute. I've put the attack right up because I wanted to soften the beginning of the phrases. But I am using a gate to get rid of all the kind of breathy sounds. I am using compressor, I am using reverb, I'm also using delay, which I've designed myself on this one. So I started with this 0.4 dotted delay, and I've just kind of manipulated these levels here and chopped and changed it because I just wanted the end of the phrase to kind of punch out again. So that's what I've done there. And you have to play with these delays. So straight away we're using effects, we're using pitch shift, we're using Autotune, and there's lots and lots of really good technology happening here. So if you're not a singer, you have this fantastic tool. And I'll put it into action in a minute, but let me show you what I've got so far. And you'll either hate it or you'll love it or you'll be indifferent. And it doesn't really matter. My idea with this is not to influence you in any way. So even if you don't like my idea, that's probably better because you're obviously already thinking, actually I can do that a lot better, which is exactly the way I want you to feel. Okay, so that being said, let's play the first bit and see what you guys reckon. I've walked this long road to freedom, and I've tried not to falter. I've made missteps along the way, but soon discovered it's not over. Okay, so you can hear that. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. You know, not being the greatest singer in the world. Well, I'll probably use a girl vocal to do this in the end, actually, because it's kind of out of my range, really. A minor and C tend to suit girl vocalists just slightly better. But, you know, that being said, I'm fairly happy with that, and I could probably submit that as a clean piece of audio and get the marks I want. Okay, so I've also got this chorus bit, and I'll just play you the chorus bit as well. And for now, I haven't put this break in. Actually, I'm going to leave the break clean. I haven't put all the other verses in, and I might even leave this verse as it is. I don't know yet. I need to use as many of those vocals as I possibly can. And then this bridge bit is going to be my chanting bit, which is going to be fantastic. So let me just play you this chorus, and then I'll move over to these ones, which I haven't edited yet. So we'll kind of look at some of the phrasing for them. Keeping one's head pointing towards the sun, one's feet moving forward, one's feet moving forward. There may be many dark moments. So you can hear, I mean, I can develop that a lot further, but actually, you know, where it stands at the moment, not being a professional singer by any means, it's sounding okay, and that's really by coming into here and doing all those adjustments. Now, I've got this one here, and I'm just going to show you guys that I haven't kind of moved the rhythms around at the minute, so I just wanted to show you of how you would do this and just kind of moving the notes around and kind of shaping them a bit further. Okay, so okay, I mean let's do some funky things here. Let me just go up a couple of tones and just show you how that works. So here we go. Let's go up here, and I'll show you how we can kind of just change the actual shape of these particular phrases. Okay. And it might sound naff, and it really doesn't matter because I'm just experimenting with phrasing and stuff like that, okay? And let's see what this one sounds like. Let me just set up a loop. And I've tried not to falter. So straight away, I mean, that's quite nice. Let's just move this one up as well. And I've tried not to falter. And straight away, I mean, completely and utterly different, of course, but this is how we can build shape, you know. Have these ideas, and it may sound a bit too auto-tuney, but you imagine them passing this off to a proper singer and letting them do it. And I've tried not to falter. Let's just move some of these notes up as well, and sometimes I do find it's a bit fiddly, so I have to kind of zoom in quite a bit. Okay, you also need to make sure you're in the right key for the chord that you're on as well. So being that we're in A minor C, it's fairly easy to find all the notes that we want. And I've tried not to falter. So let's try something a bit more radical. So let's move this one right up there. And I've tried not to falter. And look at the phrasing. Look at the way that's changing the shape. Now we talked about the vibrato, so let's put some wacky vibrato on it. And have a listen to the wobble. And I've tried not to falter. we'll need to do the same here if we want to make that sound right. And once again, in order to get all those handles, we do have to zoom right in. And we'll do the same here, and we'll make this a bit more wacky. Okay, zooming back out. And I've tried not to falter. Not so much. Let's try this one. And I've tried not to falter. And I've tried not to falter. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea for how these things work, okay? So this is going to take you quite a long time, and that's fine. It should take time. Get your ideas down. Keep playing around with the vocal phrasing. Make sure you get all these phrasings right. And then I'll see you in the next lesson when we look at some more complex kind of vocal structures, and we'll start adding audio, and we'll start dealing with technologies in other ways so we can fit this brief completely. Okay.